Saturday morning show for y'all. I am, as always, Hunter, aka the Ultra Mega TTPGer, and I got my usual cohorts and partners in crimes with me. Mar Hawkman, I got Duskwill, and I got Mr. Roger Roger.
Howdy,
How's it
everyone.
going, everyone? We said that at the exact same time. That felt very in sync. I feel connected.
I feel so special.
I just verified that it is actually playing on YouTube. So, hey, that part's working now.
Nice.
Yeah, and I just realized I completely forgot to put on Twitter that, hey, we're about to do a live show. Then trying to do that post really quick.
Trust me, I've had.
So while I'm trying to do that,
oh, great, we're already
so
starting.
while I'm
Great.
doing this really quick,
True professionalism. Let's go.
Right.
Hold on, we need to give the talking stick to Hunter real quick.
Talking stick.
Yeah. I'm the forever GM. This is my show, dog damn it. But anyways, okay. So so while I'm figuring this out, Mar Hawkman, how was your week?
Well, okay. I can't say it was a bad week in general, but I've had better.
All right, short, sweet, simple enough. What about you, Duskwill?
For the most part, not too well. That pertains mostly to my job and the government shutdown. But outside of that, can't really complain too much. Spend most of the week just relaxing.
All right. And Mr. Roger, how about you?
It's actually been pretty good. Been going to the gym. I done something that I've been talking about doing for a while. I actually made some videos and put them over on the Country Tom Pop YouTube channel.
Oh, nice. I'll have to make sure I check those out because I know I'm to you, but I follow so many people now. It's crazy.
Yeah, over there we were discussing that one of the new manga series that Viz Media announced that'd be getting released next year. If you've seen the things about that, that's essentially the one about the half Japanese, half whatever other they're supposed to be, having to deal with racism in Japan. Yeah, we're getting that next year. And apparently, if anybody's read them, the Skybound Energon universe is apparently going to be getting an adult animated adaptation.
Yeah, that is an actually interesting thing about Japan is that they kind of have a cultural weirdness regarding children of foreigners, whereas like, oh, you look like a foreigner, so we're going to treat you like a foreigner.
Yeah.
And the way I see it is that I don't care those stories get told. It's the fact that even over there, that's a different concept than what they usually get, because you usually get something like One Piece, Demon Slayer, something that's supposed to be extravagant, out there, fantasy and everything, something that's entertaining. That's why even over in Japan, that series didn't even sell all that well. And yet over here, that's the only story that Westerners seem to be able to tell when it comes to Black people is, oh, how much racism I have to deal with.
Yeah.
So,
kind of really would be many other ones.
Perfect time for me to say that. Yep. So, if you guys want to not deal with crazy woke adventures, you want to actually make something your own. Let me see if I can bring this up without it out on me here.
There we go. The obligatory portal to adventure.
Yep, there's a week left to this Kickstarter. I actually had Matthew Tapp, the creator of Barrows of Borderlands, on my stream last night. We did a 3-hour stream just talking about Barrows of Borderlands, the Kickstarter, and then also doing some character creation, because this is also in work alongside the creators of the Arduin trilogy, and with some of the new creators of Blackmore, because you get the Lost Dungeons of Tonisburg will be with this as well. It's already almost to 34K, but there is another break goal. There is another stretch goal if it reaches 35. So I'm hoping it gets to there before it all comes down. So yeah, this is something I've been really passionate about, something I've been looking forward to, and because once this is all done, the guy's been printing stuff already with his own personal printer. So we'll probably months after this is done, we'll get everything. So yeah.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
Right. So kind of going right into it with the first topic, because there was a lot of stuff that happened between the 2 weeks that we weren't on stream. And I'm going to bring up the first one. So one of the things that have happened recently is that the new Pokemon game came out to backlash. So I have this post here nation on X that basically just says it's official. Pokemon has more money than Digimon for critic reviews. This article right here says it's official. Pokemon has beaten Digimon. What's your guys' thoughts about that? Start with. All right, you can go first, Roger, since you already started speaking.
Sorry. But basically, it's funny because there is actually an article that, if I remember correctly, that came out just like a day or two earlier that said the exact same thing from the gamer, but it was in the reverse. And it just shows that people who make these articles actually do not know what it is that they're talking about. And the thing is, though, is that, yeah, I'm not surprised that the new Pokemon game came out. Shoot, I even had a post over on X that says the Pokemon fans will just consume anything and everything that's Pokemon related because it's Pokemon.
All right.
Lynn,
move on. Do Duskull next. What do you? Oh,
okay.
I am so sorry, guys. I feel bad that I'm the one lagging behind today. So
I'll be quiet. Go ahead.
All right. No, you're fine. Fish, your final thought, and then Duskull, you can go next.
Okay.
Okay. Final thoughts is that it doesn't matter if it sells. It's just due to the fact that these, like I said, they will just consume anything that is Pokemon related. But if you actually take somebody that doesn't potentially know either series or doesn't care, if you put both of the newest games side by side, guarantee you that the one that they say that looks like the most polished and everything is going to be the Digimon Time Strangers. I'm done.
Okay. As for me, I haven't really looked too deeply into the Pokemon fiasco because I'm just not that interested in Pokemon games. Really, I've only really ever enjoyed the spin-off titles and never enjoyed the mainline series. But I've seen clips of the new Pokemon game. Was it like AZ or something like that?
Yeah.
And
ZA.
ZA. And the new Digimon game. And my first thought was, all right, Digimon objectively looks better. And at least from my own personal understanding, when I saw like gameplay stuff, it seems like Digimon was going to be funner. But I already know people got low self-control, low impulse control, and also you don't even know what the heck they even actually like in terms of quality, and Pokemon was just going to outsell just by virtue of being Pokemon.
Well, see, what I've heard about it is the fact that the only thing that I've heard people that have actually played it said that the only thing that they truly did enjoy about it is only like the new kind of gameplay mechanic that this new Pokemon game does have in it, because it's not the traditional turn-based like the older games. It's kind of like an actual like real-time battle kind of game. But literally everything else is what they complained about. The game looks cheap. It looks like a GameCube era game, which was 20 years ago.
Now that's just
The
disrespectful to the GameCube.
I know, but it's the closest comparison that you can actually make. I mean, shoot, go back and look. It looks to be almost on the same par as Pokemon Coliseum on the GameCube.
Oh, I love Coliseum. I love Coliseum.
But yeah, just look at that. The story, with what little there is in it, isn't all that good. One of the things that they tried to make a whole entire campaign around was like this ranking system where you start off all the way at the bottom to reach like A rank coming from Z rank. But I literally saw a clip where somebody was at like X rank and they just immediately just shot up to F rank. And I was like, well, what is the point of you introducing this if you're not even going to follow through with it? And then, of course, the characters are just non-existent because they can't seem to write any characters that are actually well written and all that. Oh, and one other thing that the Digimon game seems to triumph over the series that is part of the biggest franchise on the face of the planet. Doesn't have voice acting.
Oh yeah, I saw the clip of them doing like the concert for one of the rivals, which is like a punk rock street air.
Yeah, that was back on the Sword and Shield game.
And they just straight up just have like just do regular like very generic rock singer move sets with no dialogue at all.
Exactly.
It's very awkward.
Marhawk, man, it sounds like you're kind of cooking over there a little bit. What are your thoughts?
I've actually watched gameplay videos of people walking around the new maps, and my thought as someone who has had a long time commenting on art in video games and doing stuff related to art in video games, the whole game looks unfinished. You mentioned Coliseum earlier. I would actually argue that the environments Coliseum look better.
Oh yeah, I
because of the fact
agree.
that the people designing the environments in Coliseum understood a fundamental premise of don't make it boring. Like you will see in the ZA game, places where a building has a row of identical windows. Okay, that's actually fine. It's like it's an efficient use of assets to load a texture file into memory and then just tile it to, save memory space and stuff. Okay, cool. Why is that the entire front of the building? That's the problem with it, is that you have this blank featureless wall that's a single pattern that's obviously repeated over and over and over again, and there's nothing else to look at on the entire wall. Ugh. It looks, that's why I say it looks unfinished. It's like it's these bland, sterile maps that, while they might be on some technical level competent, they're not interesting. It's the sort of thing that I would expect to see from a fan project that had like 2 or 3 people working on it. Not what I would expect from a major release from a respected game studio. And it's like horribly disappointing in terms of the visuals. I haven't heard any good things about their new active battle thing. A lot of people have been comparing it to Pal World, and it's like, wait, Nintendo's releasing a game to make the Pokemon games more like Pal World? What? I'm not actually sure how similar it is to Pal World since I haven't played ZA or Pal World in practice.
Well, like a point to the active portion of the comic. Is like, what does the trainer actually do while being able to run around while the Pokemon fight?
I genuinely don't.
do.
Yeah.
Like unlike in Pal World, where you can actually pull out a Glock and shoot a Pokemon or a pal.
And as
Or-
Graffiti Radio pointed out, Nintendo is selling their products worldwide, not in a limited local market like your average fan project.
Yeah. And plus, also another thing that Power World has over Pokemon is the fact that the tamer can like do partner up moves with their pals. So you can actually like interact with your pals in a way that Pokemon's never really done.
Well, okay, the Pokemon Ranger games have some of that. It's just that the Pokemon Ranger games, A, aren't mainline Pokemon games, and B, the Pokemon Ranger games don't actually have you own Pokemon. You as a Pokemon Ranger, you interact with Pokemon. You might temporarily befriend a Pokemon, but then you let it do its own thing and you don't keep it in a Pokeball. Which is part of the reason why the Ranger stuff is more dynamic, is that in order to do stuff, you have to, actually like temporarily take control of a Pokemon to get the Pokemon to do something for you, and then you let it go.
Yeah, so take over here for a second. So we see this from Metacritic, shared by this person going by Marv. This is just going over some of the reviews. Digimon Story Time Stranger. Digimon Story Time Stranger. Time Stranger, that should be one word because that's confused me for a second. Yeah. It's only got like a 79, so it's considered kind of average, but its universal acclaim is 9.2. Now let's compare that to Pokemon. If it goes to the next image, same general favor, but the general unfavorability score is much lower.
Whoo, that's night and day. Holy shit.
Not surprising the slightest.
Hey, I take a close look at that picture there, and you'll see exactly what I was talking about earlier. See how the front of that building is obviously a flat sheet of geometry.
Yeah,
there is no
Mhm.
actual shape to the front of the building, but the picture asset that's tiled onto it makes it look like there's a row of balconies. And also it makes the balconies look exactly identical to each other. And it's just like there's like nothing there. It's just a flat. Bleh.
And apparently ZA only has like 2 dungeons in the whole thing. The rest of it's in the city.
Yeah, that was something I'd forgotten to get to, because like I was originally thinking about that. It's like ZA, most of it takes place in a single city. It's like, yes, there have been Pokemon games where there's a central city where like most of the real action takes place, but there's other places you go. And it's not all contained within that one city.
Well, with the placing on where this game is supposed to be, it's supposed to be taking place in the Kalos region, which was introduced in the X and Y games. This whole entire game is centered around Lumio City, which is supposed to be the equivalent of Paris in the Pokemon world. And in the original game, it was nowhere near this big because again, you could only fit so much on like those little 3DS cartridges. So them placing the entire game within the city is supposed to just give it the more like expanded the look on like how big Lumio City is truly supposed to be. But my issue is the fact that it makes the whole game feel very limited just due to the fact that you're only traveling in the city. You can't even travel barely outside the city.
That's actually a thing that I feel that people have overstated in this one, is that they don't really have a particularly small limitation on how much terrain they can put in this game. If they just left out places outside the city, it's not because of a hardware limitation. It's like, sure, you have a limited line of sight. Okay, whatever. Open world games have been doing that for decades now. But what is with this one, it seems to be, is that the designers just didn't finish anything. It's like they built this super large but not well detailed city, and then I really have to wonder if they just like ran out of time and didn't have the ability to add any other stuff outside it, because I don't know.
Considering everything I've seen about the game, just looks just underbaked in general. I'm just going to assume they didn't really bother.
No, they don't have to bother because they know the Pokemon fans will just consume it because it's Pokemon.
I
can't
remember which stream I was on where I mentioned this, but I think because even though I didn't watch the show that often because I didn't have the channel for it when I was growing up, I was still a fan of the original Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance Pokemon games. And one of my thoughts I had was, if this had just stayed on a handheld and trying to go for such a big console expansion, Pokemon would have done better, because there was something about the handheld games that made me appreciate it more. So let's be honest, in my opinion, I didn't like the N64 Pokemon games. I didn't like them that much. They weren't the same feeling as compared to the handhelds.
Well, that's the thing, is the fact that everybody who has played the games all says that mechanically wise, look wise, and everything, they say that, and I personally agree as well, it peaked during the black and white games, because those were where like the sprites and everything were at the absolute most polished. Everything just felt so alive and everything in the game world, to the point where you could be like traveling to places and you just see like the little interactions where you can see like, oh, it's snowing in this area. You could actually see the snow falling on the screen. It just felt more alive. While moving on into the 3D model era with X and Y, that's where everything just started to feel a little bit more flat, especially when it came to like the animation of the Pokemon models themselves, because at least with the sprites, they felt more alive, more vibrant, felt like they had personality. While when they went to the 3D models, they were just standing there and just standing animations, just waiting for until you actually post something. While with the black and white ones, you can actually see the sprites move and actually, like I said, feel like the Pokemon had like their own little personalities.
I just wish I could look at the alternate timeline where Monster Hunter was the one that became the big named monster collector game. I miss Monster Hunter. I mean, Monster Rancher.
Actually, one that I was actually thinking of as in sort of a weird analogy, what was Robopon. See, it's like the description of the way that the ZA system in game works reminds me a lot of the legend ranking system in the original Robopon game. The legend ranks were numbered titles, going from 1 to 8, I think. And when you start out the game, you don't even have the 8 title. You have to earn the 8 title by beating the current holder of the 8 title. Then you can go challenge whoever has the 7 title.
Oh, Miracle Graffiti Radio in the chat just reminded me of another thing. It's almost as if Pokemon companies really needs better 3D artists. It's not the fact that they don't need better 3D artists. They need people that know how to properly optimize their games, because I don't know if anybody remembers this, but back during the Sun and Moon games, whenever like the characters would like do like the different facial animations and everything, That is a whole brand new model. They had to literally create a brand new model for a character that has a different facial expression because they don't know how to optimize those games properly. So that's why everything feels so flat, because those games just were completely overridden with like multiple models of the same characters, just with different facial animations.
Truth be told, video game optimization and compression is just becoming an worryingly, increasingly rapid lost art.
Well, I've actually talked to several video game developers because, like I was saying earlier, it's like I have years of experience with the modding community in several games, but also as someone who used to be one of the hosts of the Foundry Roundtable podcast for Star Trek Online, which that got closed because the Foundry and Star Trek Online got closed because of technical deficit. It's just like after a while, the people who had made it just couldn't keep updating it, because anytime they made any major changes to the game engine as a whole, they had to rejig things in the Foundry to make the Foundry keep working, because people who want to make major changes in games will often drastically underestimate how extensive the effects will be. Like one of the changes they made in Star Trek Online for wanting to make the game look better, they permanently broke several basic aspects of the game. Because, okay, so as one person put it, I think it was Kiri, as one of the people who was working for Cryptic Studios at the time on Star Trek Online, is that you have a certain amount of processing power that you can allocate towards making the game look good. Do you want to have high detail graphics? Do you want to have dynamic graphics that can reshade as the lighting changes, and so on and so forth? And well, one of the biggest things that they did in Star Trek Online, and something I think the devs kind of regret because the end result wasn't as good as they were hoping it would be, was changing the way that the game's lighting system worked. Because they made a fundamental change so that, well, they wanted to add dynamic lighting. Well, the previous way that their game had lighting didn't allow for dynamic light sources because it had fakes of shadows. It didn't have real shadows, it had fake shadows. So you couldn't have a directional light source cast a shadow on something. They decided to change that, and that made the game technically worse in terms of how it actually plays. Yeah.
Yep. So
I know that was
go
a
ahead
long
and
explanation.
oh, no, you're fine. Just there's a lot we want to talk about, and we just spent 30 minutes just on this alone. So I don't. So we'll try to. It's going to be a long one. So if you stay around, you can. If you don't, that's fine. But I'm going to go ahead, and I came across this one earlier. Just doing my quick scroll through. This is shared by the Bugle on X, who he covers a lot of comic book stuff, and so I came across this little gem.
I haven't looked at Bugle Daily in a hot minute.
Yeah, can anyone figure out why mainstream comics are dead?
I want to throw up.
Oh God, I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure, I think on the right, that is Aqua Boy or Aqua Lad. I don't know what name he goes by. I have no clue who his boyfriend now is on the left.
It's Aqua Lad.
It's Aqua Lad.
It's not the only
Aqua Lad's on the right.
Yeah.
The guy in the red shirt, yeah. He's not even the first character to use the name Aqualad. It's just the most recent one.
Because of the Young Justice cartoon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is one of those things where it's like most people look at this and like, okay, do I feel like reading this? No.
And how would this help us sell more comics? Comics?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It's the meme. They literally did the meme.
Say
Yeah.
what you will about Stone Toss. He don't miss 90% of the time.
I don't think I've read a comic where it's like, yeah, it's like Stone Toss. Like, I don't entirely agree with you, but you're not also entirely wrong either.
Well, that
Don't know a single human being who looks like that. Me neither.
well, that's just the whole entire thing is the fact that literally since all of like this propaganda with like queerness and all that started going into the comic books and everything, it's where we just started seeing like a bunch of decline with it because they kept on moving further away from like, if we're going to be specific, the superhero comic books scene is because of this constant push for this kind of validation and everything. I mean, shoot, one of the things that I was just mentioning earlier about the whole Skybound Entertainment Energon universe is the fact that it's actually a compelling story with actual well-written characters, while it seems like the vast majority of superhero American comic books from the big two, Marvel and DC, is pretty much going like either going one of two directions. One, who can we turn gay this time? Looking at you, Tim Drake, and how much they've screwed him over. And look how gay we are. Don't you want to read about
John
how
Kent
gay
too.
we are?
Yeah, there was that whole arc with Superman's son as when he suddenly aged up, and then they had the gay thing with him too in the comics for a little bit.
Yep.
And then, yeah, because then it's like we get crap like this. Meanwhile, and let me bring this little other post that I also had saved on file, because this one I died laughing when this happened. Was Chuck Dixon of Absolute Batman fighting Antifa men. And everyone's saying this is showing him a tourist that knows nothing about Batman.
No. This is absolutely something Batman would do because of the fact that, you see, you have Antifa members throwing bricks at random cars of people who have nothing.
Yeah.
They are just like bystanders going about their day, and suddenly they have the Antifa guys throwing bricks at their cars for daring to drive on the street that the Antifa people are protesting on. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of person that Batman would beat into submission.
Yeah,
I remember one
someone.
of the earliest controversies of Antifa that kind of made them worldwide famous on then Twitter was, I can't remember what the exact protest or demonstration or whatever it was, but it was like a whole manhunt with fucking 4chan back in the day of figuring out a masked guy with Antifa slinging around a bike lock and nailing people in the head.
Yeah, it's something that is most people wouldn't legally consider to be a weapon. However, yeah. Anyways,
that's fucking.
I was just gonna say really.
Go ahead, Hunter.
No, I was gonna say because someone commented under, I think it was this post or another post that shared this picture, where it's like, but Batman beats up people. I said, no, correction. Batman beats up criminals. There is a huge difference. The ICE agents are not criminals. If there are corrupt ICE agents, though, among them, though, Batman will sniff them out and beat them to a pulp. But yeah, Batman has never gone after cops unless they deserved it.
Yeah, this reminds me of my favorite counter argument to the, but those are people too. Antifa members are people too. Yeah, so was Hitler. What's your point?
I'll take it, Stefan. So is George Floyd. And we all know the truth about him that everyone wants to deny now. So
people knew it at the time. It's just that the mainstream media was pushing a narrative and trying to drown out anyone who actually told the truth.
Well, yeah, because it goes against their truth And that's all they cared about, was getting their truth out there, not the actual truth.
Yeah, because if I recall correctly, I think Chuck Dix actually did this in response to another person who made artwork of Batman trying to like either choke out or snap the neck of an ICE agent. I think that was it. This was in response to that artwork.
It was, because I remember seeing that completely floating around, and then I just saw people just making little tweaks to that original artwork for it to be in Antifa, but then you get Chuck Dixon literally going out and making a original piece on his own. But what basically, I just want to say that the fact that you got people out here calling Chuck Dixon, of all people, claiming he's using AI and talking about how he doesn't know anything about Batman, it's these same people that claim that they have a comic book collection. When you ask them to show their long boxes, they don't got it because either they're reading it through like that app and everything that DC had a while back. I don't know if that's still a thing, or they just open up a Wikipedia page and just get all their information from there, which if that's the case, they couldn't even be bothered to actually look up who Chuck Dixon is, considering the fact that he's the man that is responsible for a bunch of characters that are written in the way back when they were actually good. He's the man that was responsible for Tim Drake during like his whole entire run of Robin, which is why a lot of people herald Tim Drake as one of the, if not the best Robin to exist. Oh, and he also created this one character that's in the Batman mythos. Who is it again? Oh yeah, it's Bane. He's the man that created Bane.
Yeah. And so,
well, one of my observations about how you have those people who are like, oh, yes, I collect comics. I know a lot about comics. And if you actually get them to tell you honestly, they will actually say that they basically like bought a handful of comics and like, oh, yeah, I like reading comics. And they only own like 5 of them or some shit. Like they don't really understand it. They tell you they understand it, but the way that they tell you they understand it shows that they really don't.
yeah, and so we'll get to this probably again when we get to it a little down the line. But going over when Sandy Peterson and Rob Kuntz were talking about the horrendous WotC art that was released, which I think is also for Magic the Gathering as well, from other reports I've seen. People called those two tourists, even though they've been in the hobby so much longer than the majority of the people. And I remember on the same stream, I think I talked about Pokemon. I said that we are now reaching the equivalent of like, because have y'all seen the clips of where like the parents will hand their kids like either one of those old school rotary phones or a cassette tape or a VHS tape, and the kids have no freaking clue what to do with it? We've hit that point with the hobby at this point, and a lot of stuff is.
Yeah, it just goes to show that we are just losing a whole entire generational stuff of hobbies and everything, because these people can't be bothered to go back and do their homework over the stuff that actually made the hobby what it is today.
Yeah, we're basically to the point where it's like we have gone so far beyond the point of remembering what came before us that now we're just getting slop and a bunch of stuff. Now people are thinking like, oh, we have the hobby now. And it's like, no, we still got some old guard left, but once that old guard's gone, who's gonna we need people to stand in the way of those that are going to try to ruin it.
I had a conversation with a cousin of mine who is a public teacher, and one of her comments was that it's a reflection of the way people are taught to act in society in general. Is because like she sees like basic math problems are things that high school students see as a challenge. It's like, no, you should be able to do that in your head without even thinking. 2 plus 2, you should be able to spit out the answer as a reflex. You shouldn't need to look it up on your phone.
Yeah. So I thought that was just interesting.
Well,
Yeah,
but like
seeing the
what I was getting at with this though is that it's the way of teaching people to behave is leading them in a path where they're helpless and need to rely on authority figures to live their daily lives and can't do anything else. It's just ugh. Anyways, yeah, I'm done with that.
yeah, I don't really have a good segue for this next point, but I wanted to cover that because that was one of the crazy things that happened was with comics and Chuck Dixon. But another really major thing that happened was we had TwitchCon or either this week or this past week, and a very horrendous thing happened. And I actually have the post from that person herself, Miss Emmy.
Yep, that was a
So
whole
I'm going to read
clusterfuck.
this.
Oh no, it's more than one clusterfuck.
A lot of clusterfucks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So actually, yeah. So hello everyone, I am okay, and thank you for all the kind messages. Sorry I cannot respond to them all. And this is let me look at the date for this really quick. Yeah, this was October 18th, so a week ago now. Yesterday, the man who assaulted me was allowed to cross multiple barriers at TwitchCon and even in front of another creator's meet and greet to grab me and grab me and try to kiss me. Fortunately, he wasn't able to, but a lot of people have pointed out it could have been a lot worse. I'm obviously shaken up by what happened, and it's not the first time I've dealt with something like this. But to tell you honestly, I am a lot more hurt by how Twitch handled it during and after the fact. Like I said, I don't understand how he was allowed to make it to me in the first place. The security in the clip who reacts is my own security. It's true my favorite unusual security guard was banned for holding a stalker's arm to bring him to police at a past TwitchCon. So let me stop there for a second. Let's cover this at least this little segment we talked about. So I don't have the clip available at on hand to show you, but you can probably look it up. And hold on, my computer's glitching on me. Give me a second here.
I'd also recommend not showing the clip because I've been seeing things going around that YouTube has been getting people's accounts like going after people, including like smaller creators, for even showing that video off. Because God, who is it that I saw? There was somebody that was posting it and said that YouTube said that they violated their TOS by showing sex and nudity in that video clip. It's like,
Even though there
what
wasn't.
are you exactly?
Well, see, I remember characterized the incident as sexual assault because the fact that the guy was holding her by her face and trying to force her to kiss him, which in that context, it does actually sort of make sense for YouTube to be like, oh, you're not allowed to show people doing a sexual assault without censoring it. Well, yeah.
YouTube kind of lost that
so
credibility when they allowed naked yoga to be on their platform.
Also, don't forget about the little bit graphic and everything, but who remember that one video that went around where it was like a gay guy with gay guys around him going like, is this a dildo or a dick? If anybody remember that.
That was the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah. So part of the thing I wanted to talk about, so going back to the first little part I read. So if you actually see the video, you see standing off to the side, there's this guy with bright blue neon hair, and that is apparently one of TwitchCon security that just stood there and watched it happen.
No. He wasn't a security. He was like a fan going up to meet her. Yeah. And then when everything happened, he just sit there with his arms limp down and didn't know what to do because he's like a little beta male that doesn't want any kind of confrontation in his life.
Well, it's one of those things where it's just like this random bystander who's like, wait a second, what just happened? Because like I've seen the actual clip. It's like the actual real-time thing is only like 3 seconds, and her security guard guy was actually pretty quick. It's just that her security guard guy was told he had to stay off to the side off the stage. So he was out of view of the cameras while people were filming the meet and greet.
Yeah, and that's just one of the problems is the fact that security couldn't be close by because you said it took about 2 or 3 seconds. There's a lot of stuff that could happen in that 2 or 3 seconds.
And
Like there's a whole thing where people are claiming that he was like pulling something out. He if that was going to be the case, all you would need is that 2 or 3 seconds, and she'd be gone.
Yeah, that is actually one of the things that Emiru said in her Rage Out live stream from TwitchCon. She actually like did an improvised live stream where she looked like she was streaming it from her phone or something in a random conference room in the building that TwitchCon was being held at, where she's like, if he'd actually wanted to kill me, he could have. That was actually something. Boy.
So let me continue reading this. However, there were 3 or 4 other TwitchCon security staff in the area who did not react, let the guy walk away, as you can see in the clips, and say don't even appear in the frame. The woman who was walking me away is my own personal manager, and behind the booth, the only 2 people who were checking on me and comforting me were her and my friend. None of the TwitchCon staff came to ask what happened. My friend who was present told me Twitch security were also behind the booth afterward, joking about how they didn't even see what happened, and immediately left, moving on to talking about something else. So if no one was checking this, if I was okay or if I needed anything, and they let the guy run away initially, I have no idea what anyone hired to keep the events safe was he doing. In Twitch's statement, they said that the guy was immediately caught and detained. I'm sorry, but that is a blatant lie. He was allowed to walk away from my meet and greet, and I didn't hear he was caught until hours after he attacked me. And felt like this only happened because of my manager pressing for it, not because TwitchCon staff present thought it was a big deal. I have a lot more to say, but I will say it on stream later today instead of writing a book on here. And the rest is just saying thank you to everyone who reached out to her and all that. But this has been I have been very outspoken for years about how Twitch mishandles its users, because it all started back when they were allowing the OnlyFans girls to platform themselves while banning VTubers for every little Tom, Dick, and Harry reason here and there. And because I am very supportive of my VTuber friends. Dash and I have talked extensively about how Twitch has mishandled their treatment of VTubers. And the fact that they allowed now a actual flesh streamer, as they would put the term, to be violated in such a grievous manner and do nothing about it, it's like, hey, Rumble may not be the most best successful platform out there. YouTube has its own kinks and problems here and there. But compared to Twitch, YouTube and Rumble look like angels.
There is also...
Hunter, they did do something about it. They initially gave him a 30-day ban.
Yeah.
On Twitch. They didn't ban him from the convention. They banned him on Twitch.
There's also a thing that happened at this TwitchCon that's also related to VTubers, but Iron Mouse has come out and said that her meeting.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Was cut exceptionally short for little to no reason, and also came to find out that quite a few of the gifts that her fans wanted to give her had to go through a screening process, and the vast majority of them have actually been confiscated and not given to Iron Mouse, and she was never notified of that. And when she put out that story, quite a few other VTubers have also shared like the exact same thing, how their own meet and greets were cut ridiculously short, and how even quite a few gifts they were receiving were being taken away without getting notifications.
What the impression I got about that was that, one, it was pretty much any case of a gift being handed to Twitch staff to be given to anyone who was one of the Twitch celebrities at the event. Almost all of them got
thrown away,
disposed of.
Yeah.
No one actually knows what exactly happened to them. Some of them were seen being actually just like chucked into a trash can, but we don't actually know what happened to all of them. And also there's the issue of the people who were handling the entry into the convention of the various personnel who were there to run the meet and greets, and having people like Doki Bird unmask in public just to verify the identity.
I was going to pull this up. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I think it was Chibi Doki.
Chibi Doki.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
could be Chibi
Anyway.
Doki. The situation was that she went in there in the flesh but wanted to keep a mask on, but Twitch security, quote unquote, told her that they couldn't let her in until she demasked so they could verify her identity, despite the fact that she wanted to keep rights to privacy and also the fact she had an ID tag to identify herself.
So it's funny that
she had to go in the door with her mask off. They wouldn't let her put it back on until after she was inside the building.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's funny that they want Chibi Doki to unmask herself, but yet we actually got for the first time what Cha-Cha looks like as a human being, and she had her, and they let her keep her mask on.
Yeah,
so there's obvious bias going on with some of the VTubers on Twitch as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I had no issue with Cha-Cha. I love her content. She's great. It's like, of course, I goon for her avatar. That's a whole other being the degenerate in me. But, but it's like it's either rules for thee or not for thee at all. You can't make exceptions. You gotta treat everyone fairly and equally. And Twitch has increasingly failed to do that time and time again.
Yeah, and it makes you think. What does a person in charge of this company, Dan Clancy, what is he going to do to uphold the state of everything that went on during TwitchCon, everything going on in his company? Will he actually stand up and do something what's right? No, he's going to go out and party like nothing is going on. He's a fucking 70-year-old acting like he's in his mid-20s, dancing around, grinding on a bunch of e-thoughts that are literally like a quarter of his age, and claiming that, oh, I want to say hello to my friends, when he's referring to a bunch of 19-year-old e-girls, and going on fucking news interviews with Taylor Lorenz, who is a known doxer because she's the one that was doxing libs of TikTok.
Also, Dan Clancy, while he was at TwitchCon, wore a gaudy metal chain with a Roblox logo on it. Like, like, come on, dude. Why would you go to that much money for that?
I also believe at this TwitchCon, he got ambushed during a kind of like an Ask Me Anything kind of panel segment from an army vet that wanted clarification of how many other content creators are getting punished for very minor or non-existent issues. Meanwhile, Frogan is still allowed to do a bunch of stuff even after on live she said that America deserved 9/11 and that she says that all American soldiers and veterans deserve that PTSD. And he just started flubbing out word salad.
Yeah, I saw that. It was just like some random. It was like hearing a chat bot recite a corporate policy statement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I also don't have this pulled up either. I wish I kind of did now that I think about it. Because we talk about, Hassan is also one of those people on Twitch that has said many horrendous things. And we recently saw, because eventually, it's like what I said time and time again, the left always eat their own. And ever since the whole shot collar on the dog thing came out, his fans turned on him. And it caused the most wonderful crash out that we have ever seen.
Can I mention something else before we move on to that? Stick with the TwitchCon thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. I just also want to point out the fact that we actually did have people that were out there telling people not to go and attend TwitchCon. We had people like Asmongold, and we had people like Tectone. And by the way, with the whole thing about what happened with Tectone, and you mentioned Frogan earlier. Frogan, you're a fat sack of shit, you dumb bitch.
I think Kirsch herself got banned from TwitchCon, if I recall.
Oh yeah, she is.
Like they wouldn't even allow her to attend.
She was banned, yeah.
But anyway, they were outright telling people do not attend TwitchCon because something bad is going to happen. Lo and behold, we saw something bad happen literally on the very first day. And why did these people not listen to them? It's because they're no longer in the favors, because they spoke out and actually decided they were going to actually speak their minds, not keep on spewing the same leftist ideological bullshit that a
It's
bunch
not
of
even
these other
leftist.
streamers. Who is?
I wouldn't even call it leftist at this point. It's more like a corporate mandated nonsense, because like some of this stuff with Kirsche and Asmongold isn't political. They're being hated because of the fact that they're not unilaterally supporting Dan Clancy. It's not even about
But-
politics. It's about
Well,
corporate.
yeah,
It's a little bit of
And
both.
What
And-
it's all about ideology. They have outright spoken against the ideology, and that is why people that are in the higher ups of Twitch don't even do anything to recognize them anymore. They outright straight say that don't bother listening to these people, because you also got Tectone, who has been going out there crazy doing everything he can to talk absolute dog shit on Hassan Piker. Yet you have like that whole entire thing where Hassan was even mentioning about the whole entire thing about how we shouldn't be going at how we shouldn't be telling people to go and instigate violence or anything like that against people. And then literally a few seconds later talking about how much he wants Tectone to hurt and everything.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, this is also the man who, just like Broken, says that America deserved 9/11, is that just outright just
I mean,
pretty
there's
much just straight fuck America.
Hassan has on multiple occasions directly stated that he thought that people in the general public should just murder certain individuals because he doesn't like them.
And yet he's afraid for his own safety because somebody's inciting violence on me. Bitch, you're the one going out there doing it every single goddamn day. Go fuck yourself.
Well, and what I was going to be saying is that we probably can't be too harsh on some of the people that did go to the TwitchCon to attend as content creators, because I can't exactly remember where I saw this, but supposedly with the current victim that we're talking about that's still on screen here, she wanted to bring her own security, was denied to do so, but she also was not allowed to not attend otherwise, because like apparently she had like some obligation of
it's
some
like
kind or something to attend, and if she didn't, she'll get like some financial penalties.
you mean Emiru?
Yeah, Emiru.
Okay, so how that one went down was that Emiru had orchestrated a collaboration with several other people to do a costume contest live at TwitchCon. That was the big thing. It's like she didn't want to just like cancel her appearance at TwitchCon like some of her other friends had done, because she had set that up with multiple people, and she, was like, well, I told people I was going to do this. I am going to do what I told people I was going to do. And also is that she had to do the meet and greet because Twitch told her that doing the meet and greet was a prerequisite for being allowed to do the costume contest event, which isn't her personal costume contest. It was a collaboration which would get canceled if Emiru didn't do the meet and greet.
Oh.
So basically they told her,
blackmail.
can't bring security, you're forced to have to do this, and then they failed to do their job at protecting her, because at that point, if they told her that she couldn't have her own security there, they should have upped their security for her in response. That's the right thing they should have done.
Yeah, it was the right thing, but they weren't gonna do. do that because that would cause them to actually put in the actual effort to make sure that people were, actually secured.
Well,
yeah, it's just
that's another thing that came out, is that the people who were doing security there weren't real security guards. They were cosmetic security who were really there more to be like hall monitors than, proper security guards.
Give the illusion of safety.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, because I don't know if anybody here watches Friday Night Tights, but Gary stated that they watched that clip last week when it happened, and he pointed out that where they were having that held at was at the San Diego auditorium where they would have like San Diego Comic Con. It's the same area, and said that those are pretty much the same people, those security guards that are the quote unquote security just for that arena. It was just the everyday security that just works there. It was nothing special or anything like that.
Oh, so wait, the security guards aren't actual Twitch employees.
They just work for the venue on where they were holding it.
Venue staff who are there to do whatever and don't really. Oh, yeah, I will have to wonder what their instructions were related to what they were expected to do as part of this event. Because that thing that was posted about the whole thing with the gifts is like, it came across as if the venue staff people were basically just intentionally doing it wrong in some ways, and I'm not really sure exactly what they'd been told they were supposed to do at all.
yeah. Well, speaking of violence done to others, the furry community on social media has been in an uproar thanks to this next post I'm about. And given this is still this post is a couple weeks old, but this conversation has been happening nonstop ever since it happened. So apparently this is a right-leaner furry account selling our chats. Now, the story behind this. Let me explain the context first. For those who don't know, this person paid an artist, which is tagged in this post, for a commission of their fursona. Said artist received money, made artwork, gave it to the person that commissioned them. That person now owns that artwork since they paid for it. And then they decided, I'm going to put this in Grok to see what it comes out with. And you can't see the video anymore because the artist decided to be a dick and file a DCMA crap against them. But it was just a clip of the guy moving around, basically kind of your degenerate furry kind of thing you would expect, but it wasn't bad, like at least not super bad. And because it was the artist that made the image that he put in the Grok, he tagged the artist out of respect for him. And this set up like a furry civil war in this furry fandom about the use of AI. And again, this is a couple weeks old, but this AI conversation has been going nonstop ever since this happened. To where this guy received death threats, all because he did this, and at that point I was just like, okay, I'm more pro AI now more than ever. If people are going to threaten others for using it, like I understand there may be some issues here and there with maybe some of the ethics of it, but when it comes to just a small person just doing it for their own enjoyment or trying to save money their money in their pocketbooks, I'm all for it. And I will say this: only the insecure artists are afraid of AI. The good artists that are worth the money and put out the good work will still get jobs regardless. That's kind of my whole take on this whole thing, kind of short and sweet.
So like, what's the what's the background? Did this person like commission the art that he put into Grok or something?
Yes, this person, the account we're looking at, this is the original post that started this whole thing. Paid for the art, gave the artist money, artist made work, artist gave work that he was paid to do to person. And this is part of the other thing I have, because I've had this issue before, because I was big into My Hero Academia for a while, and I paid hundreds, if not maybe thousands, for various artworks during those like 2-3 years. and this came up often, is if I pay you, and this is also kind of a basic capitalism 101. If I pay you for something and you give me that item for said payments, I'm now the owner of that. Now, if we want to go into copyright for, like, if I could sell a T-shirt or use that likeness in a movie, there may be some legal ground standing there, depending. But for
It
the most
depends
part,
on it depends on the agreement you made with the artist when you're doing the work. This is one of those things that I heard a lot about when Marvel Comics started publishing Angela in Marvel Comics, is because of the fact that one of the two people who was part of the creation of Angela chose to give his share of Angela's ownership to Marvel Comics, and Todd McFarlane, who was the other guy. The reason why this came up is that Todd would normally set up contracts so that he would be full owner and not share ownership with the actual artist who created the character. Well, in this particular case, the contract was worded so that the artist was actually able to claim at least partial ownership. And that's how Angela ended up in Marvel Comics when she was originally an angel fighting Spawn.
yeah. So, okay, Rocky McCall brings up a point because he says it depends on the contract. Now, here's the thing. The most time when it comes to someone commissioning art, it's mostly like, hey, what's your rate? I would like to pay you for said work. That's usually the extent of it. To me, a contract is there is a form, whether it's physical or digital, both people sign it, artist and commissioner, and that is in myself would be a contract. I do not consider handshake agreements or just verbal message agreements to be legally binding contracts.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
my
Man,
thing,
as far as
you
I'm
guys go
concerned,
ahead.
as far as I'm concerned, if you commission an artist for art and they actually follow through with it, and the payment and the transfer has all been said and done, and you got your hands on the art, it's yours. You do whatever the fuck you want with it. It no longer belongs to the artist.
That's the thing I've been trying to express too, and also the issue I had in the past. Well, here's the thing: is now apparently because this artist has a terms of servicing, which was just a picture post on his page about like you can't do this with my artwork afterwards, which that's a whole other kind of legal gray area because once that artwork leaves your hands, I don't think you have the right to say what the person who paid you for the art gets to do with it after that. There's a whole
see,
legal
that's
gray area that there's a whole legal gray area that basically I had this conversation with another friend on a Sunday stream, and we basically just ended up agreeing with it would be a court decision at that point because it wasn't something that me or him could agree on.
yeah, that's one of those things where you have to look at it from a perspective of fair negotiation of a contract. Did the person who was providing the service inform the client that this was a stipulation, or did they blindly or just like leave it unstated and assumed as fact as part of their negotiations? Actually, this gets into a different thing, is that was this particular thing something that you can legally verify that the person who signed the agreement knew about? No. As far as I know, you can't in this particular case. That it's kind of a problem.
Yeah, so I'm going back to this guy's
I mean,
profile because
as far
again,
as
for like 2 weeks straight, like a week straight, it was talking about like how
as far as I'm
go ahead.
tracking, like terms of services, they're not like actual legal documents. Like courts are not going to care about that.
Yes and no, because like this is one of
Okay,
those
so
weird things legally, because of the fact that terms of services will often get changed by whoever has them after the fact.
Yeah.
And that creates a massive legal snarl because of the fact that it's like you agree to something, then the person changes the deal after the fact, and now what you agreed for is no longer valid. That again, it's like just like a horrible legal snarl. And not something that the law is actually written to handle.
So you point this out because a week after all this started, with everyone talking about and the artist being against AI, the artist was tracing over AI images because on the right is the artwork that the art commissioned, and then this is an AI art piece made by someone somewhere. And then this person started going back and looking at other artworks that the artist had made, and AI generated images that were reflections of that. And then I gotta find that post again now. Restarting the actual artist actually came out and admitted she was tracing over AI artwork for a lot of her commissions.
Wow.
I gotta find it. This person posted, like, as soon as everyone started attacking this person for just doing AI for a fun thing, this guy immediately got a follow from me. They have been on point with a lot of stuff lately. There have been so many Christian and right-wing furry people that have came out and been like, this is not what we wanted to be. We are now fighting against what we have become. And then even a lot of the furries that I follow were like, we would rather pay for AI arts than deal with these arts that would rather revoke our rights to be able to use what we paid them for. Because literally, there were some artists after the end that said that changed the terms of service to say that even if you pay me for the artwork, we have the right to revoke your right for the artwork from you.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
No. That is a poison pill for the agreement, and it fundamentally renders the agreement itself null and void. So, who in their right mind would sign that?
Yeah. So, like, the whole point is to
here it is,
have a piece of work
because I blocked this person.
Allowed to do whatever you want with.
Yep. This is the apology from the artist admitting that, yeah, she referenced AI for a lot of the art herself. Which, here's the thing, there's nothing wrong with that. You can create something using AI and then be like, hey, this is kind of the rough draft of kind of what I want to have for an image. Can I pay you to create like an actual artistic version of it? I did that with my tabletop frontline shirt. That logo of the sword going through the wizard hat. I made that using Gemini because I was trying to get a rough idea for it. And then my buddy Patty's Parlor, shout out to him, and he's one of the artists that is not insecure about all this, that I fully support, that has done so much work for the tabletop books in the hobby. I came out to him and was like, hey, could you artify this basically? Because I want to put this on a shirt, but I don't want to use the AI image. I want something actually artistic and great. And he made it better by doing so. So there's nothing wrong with using AI to like, hey, can you make this for me? And okay, that's kind of something I want. Go to an artist and be like, but even artists now are attacking people for creating AI references to use. Pick a lane, people.
See, my thing with this, though, is the basic idea of like, be honest about it. If you are selling things that are images created with an AI tool, be honest. Don't tell people that, like, hey, this is my own personal creation, whatever. And if you don't lie, just and like that was the thing with that one thing there is that you someone's like paid to do a commission and like, and then you find out that they actually just like sold you AI art sold you a traced over version of AI art, which
yeah, and even like, I don't have an issue with tracing either, because this is an argument I've had with people in the past too, was when people were like, oh, this artist traced over some other image, and I just straight up say, you don't own poses. There are various artists that have very similar art styles, and if we were having to get into legal battles over whose art came first and whose art came second and whose art was better, we would get nowhere with artistry in any hobbies at that point.
Yeah,
it's a big old dick waving contest at this point.
It's about as detrimental as fucking was it IP lawing friggin' video game mechanics.
Oh yeah, that's one of those things that has actually been in the U.S. for patents. A thing that's a specific exclusion is that you cannot patent something unless you can demonstrate that you were the first to create it. Otherwise, it doesn't. You cannot claim ownership because it's not yours. So like basically it's like any pose of a human being standing in a certain pose under that logic is considered inapplicable for intellectual property protection because of the fact that it's just a person in a pose.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nothing, because I've seen people actually try to make the whole entire statement of trying to copyright poses as well, because this happened last year with my girlfriend. She's an artist. Hunter knows her. And literally she posted up an artwork where she took like a pose from like from like another artist and everything, and used that pose as a reference and everything, and literally had people claiming that she was tracing over it. Well, all she was using was just using the pose as a reference piece. So you got people actually trying to make the claim of not just tracing, but trying to make the claim of you can't use that pose. That's my pose. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and I mean, Bunny, she's great. Love her. She's fun. She's a fun player to have in our Crystal Stride game I've been running for everyone. And that was the thing, because like, I respect people. Like, if they don't want AI art to be posted up in their channels, I do it out of respect for the person in charge of the channel or the server. Not really because I agree with it, because honestly, I don't. Again, I'm very much pro AI at this point with everything going on. I don't see the issue. I see it as a tool. The Red Room, which is Gail and Sylvia, who I follow and I'm good friends with, they use AI for a lot of their books because they're just two people trying to put out content and can't afford to pay artists. The last time they tried to pay someone for something, it bit them in the butt, and thankfully they got refunded for that. But and even like, which I'm actually okay that Drive Through RPG has a thing where it's like, hey, if you have AI, please put that you have AI content in this book. So I'm glad they did that, because like, hey, if you don't want to get something because it has AI art in it, that's your prerogative. That's fine. Don't send death threats to someone over it.
Well, that goes back to that thing I said earlier about being honest about whether a piece of artwork is created by AI. It's like, I don't really care if it's AI generated or not when it's just clip art in an RPG book. It's like, it's a picture of a guy holding a sword. The book doesn't have a specific reason for it to be a genuine, unique work of art from a respected artist. It's just a guy holding a sword. Having an AI draw a picture of a guy holding a sword is, for that purpose, just fine.
Yeah, and then I didn't have this because I just now thought about it, but I don't know how often you guys follow Torlord Games and Castles and Crusades. They released a new artwork piece that a lot of people started to rip up because they're like, a lot of these didn't make sense, leading to some maybe believing that Castles and Crusades used some AI for a newer art piece they were sharing on their page. So I haven't looked. I'm going by just what other people have said. I've seen other channels kind of look over it. My buddy Patty has gone over it. Diversity and Dragons has gone over it, and they're like, "Yeah, it's not really the best artwork. If it uses AI, at least say that it is." But Trollord Games is still definitely one of the better companies out there in comparison. But just like what happened with WotC, if they're going to use AI, they need to at least be upfront with it, because that's part of the reason why WotC got so much slack about using AI art, is because they weren't upfront with it. In my opinion, if they were upfront with it, no one would have batted an eye.
Actually, WotC was worse because of the fact that in some of the cases of WotC using AI, they actually lied about whether it was AI in their initial usage of it.
Yeah, that too.
It's like, if you're using AI art, okay, fine, be honest about it. Don't lie to people, and then like, oops, we accidentally used AI art after people already bought it.
Yeah. And speaking of watching AI art, this is a good segue to go into the next topic I'm going to talk about. Now that we're actually getting into some tabletop stuff, I would much rather have AI art than what the fuck this was that they made.
Oh, yeah. This whole thing.
The best
everyone
thing that came
ripped
out
this
about
to shreds.
The best thing I could say about this that's also related to AI is like the little AI videos that came in response to this. Like one of my favorite ones was like a space marine showing up and just obliterating everybody.
I saw that. That was hysterical.
I like the one of a demon being summoned, setting everything on fire.
Oh, another one
I
was
like-
that dragon in the background just flies in and just burns everybody to a crisp.
Well, it's a blue dragon, so it actually shoots lightning bolts.
I actually, believe it or not, given the way things are in fantasy, it might actually be one of those that has ice breath. You never know. But one of the things that I heard someone comment on is that this is like what you would have if the cult of Slaanesh was in charge of the town.
My own personal fan theory is that the beholder that's in the background there is trying to cultivate his own false hydra to study its life cycle, and then brainwashed all the townsfolk there to be locked in never-ending celebrations and debauchery, so they don't question any gaps of memories they have.
That does actually feel like a beholder thing to do. It's like enslave everyone with illusions.
It's not an anti-magic cone that's shooting from his eye. It's an anti-hetero cone he's shooting.
Yeah, because there's not a single straight person in that whole entire crowd. I mean, shit,
one.
even the kobolds are gay in there.
I don't even know why the kobolds are even there celebrating.
Same with the owlbear that's hiding in the background, too, if you look in the back right.
Yeah, I see it.
The owlbear dancing away in there. Oh, but yeah, this was what spawned.
It's an owlbear cub. It's a completely different thing, don't you know?
Yeah. But this is the post that got Rob Kuntz and Sandy Peterson called Taurus, because they spoke out against this too. And I made a post about it that had it's King Baldwin from that Crusader movie. It's got the head where it's raised. It's all red. It's like well, no, I can't say it because we're on YouTube. But it's the gay slur. It says silence gay slur, and that went viral. And what was funny was from that I had someone quote the X post, trying to he tagged Jeffrey. I think it's Jeffrey Talapian, who's the creator of the Hyperborea RPG. Tagged Yo Dano, which is he didn't. I don't know if he's made anything or not, but he's very prominent Dragonlance discussion content creator. And there was a third person that he tagged. I always keep forgetting. And the guy tried to say that, oh well, because these people follow this bigot, and I'm like, okay, whatever. No, never. Not first time I heard that one. That these people are just as bad as I am. And Jeff clapped back. No one gets to tell me who I can follow, as much as anyone can tell me what I can eat and where I can sleep. I am a free man, and that gave me so much respect for him. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
It's Talanian, but yeah.
Talanian. My apologies. Oh, but yeah, you guys can now converse. I'm done. I've said my piece.
All right. Can you?
Radio does bring up a good point that this just looks like a cover of a pretty bad, I would say, children's book.
Yeah. Well, it's like it's the same art style you have on a children's book. It's like light colors, airy feel. It's supposed to be give you the overall feeling of joyfulness and be bright and cheerful. And then they have characters posed like that.
All right. Can you scroll up a bit?
Sure. There's another part of this post I need to share after you finish. Say your piece.
Okay, it says, in this realm, your story is yours to tell. One of I remember seeing somebody making a comment over somebody that was like tearing into this and everything, and saying like, what do you have against like gay people playing these types of games? Is like, well, one, nobody cares that you're gay. Nobody has cared about you being about anybody being gay for a long time. And the other thing is that you should be more upset with Wizards of the Coast and Dungeons and Dragons for depicting gay people like this, like how all these companies always depict gay people like this, because they only see you as just one type of thing, and it's just whatever is going on in this image, instead of, I don't know, an actual human being. Why are you so offended by somebody complaining about this instead of the way that people always depict gay people?
Well, yeah, that actually is one thing that I have thought of with a lot of this stuff is people like to make a big deal about how you shouldn't other people and you have to treat them like fellow human beings with respect, and then they other themselves. And it's like, wait a second, hang on a sec. You are making yourself an outcast from society by choice. Why?
Exactly.
So there is another part to this post I need to point out, because it wasn't apparent on X at first. It actually was more prominent when Patty covered it and when it was her Facebook post. But now, down here, tap or click the link to Dragons and Wizards Magic 2012 Pride Collection. Proceeds will benefit Trans Lifeline.
Yeah, fucking. And Pride merch when we're well past Pride Month.
Yeah, people were trying to call it like Fall Pride, and I'm like, do we need any more days of this shit?
Well, you know the old follow the money idea. Well, so some people who have been following the whole follow the money train of logic eventually came to the point of like, okay, so who is actually attempting to financially benefit from backing this stuff? And the basic idea that a lot of people have come to realize is that this stuff goes up so high up in corporate infrastructures that some people think that it's actually like multi-billionaires trying to create social chaos. And for well, okay, a lot of people think that it's actually globalists trying to create social chaos so that they can institute a global world order, which sounds like James Bond villain stuff until you stop and realize that James Bond villains were inspired by real world villains.
Yeah.
Mm. And yeah, and then
I mean, it wasn't that long ago we almost had a billionaire take over all of Africa, but he was just too much of a schizophrenic megalomaniac. He couldn't stop outing himself and his evil. He legit calls them his evil schemes because he was that much of a schizo. And then he went to prison and helped prisoners get out of jail because he would like do their taxes and shit.
Yeah, but this is also perfect because something else Dungeons and Dragons that came to my attention this week. I don't know if that did it move it over to that or not. No, it did not. So I need to switch again. This is now on my radar. There is someone making this. The Designers and Dragons Origins. And look at which company is behind this.
Yeah,
Evil
hold of
Africa.
this. It's one of those things. It's like they literally call themselves evil, and they live up to that.
Yeah, it's like, and like and what this brought to mind is I follow the one, I think it's either the Wanderers DM or Wandering DM on YouTube, and I found out they have a podcast version on Spotify, and they did an episode recently talking about this. And while it sounds good having a history talking about like all the different versions of from like those little brown books up until like AD&D, maybe second edition, I don't trust this company to do it right, because these are the kind of people that were spreading all the lies about Gary Gygax that WotC parrots to this day still.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, see, this is part of the reason why I think that we need to pay attention to the whole like corporate sponsorship angle on this, because the fact that do you remember how the whole like thing with the Dark Elves got roped into this nonsense?
Because they were comparing them to
The
black
whole what?
people.
Who was comparing them to black people?
They were.
Oh, you mean I told what the orcs? That'd be just leftists in general.
No, well, that R.A. Salvatore, the guy who wrote the Drizzt books, jumped in on that.
Oh boy.
The guy who
Yeah.
defined how they were portrayed in fiction, because like prior to him writing the Drizzt books, dark elf culture and lore wasn't that deep. He wrote it that way. And now he's throwing himself under the bus for being a racist bigot because his corporate overlords told him to.
Which doesn't make any sense because drows are more a matriarchal society, which would not represent anything about actual black culture because there's fatherlessness rampant throughout it.
Well, also with drow society, it's explicitly forced on the drow by their patron deity, and it's not even just them being evil in the traditional sense. They're literally kind of, well, like I said, they're forced to do it.
Yeah, and then y'all saw the little trailer for his crappy book it's going to be coming out about Dritz's daughter, Breezy.
I squarely blame Dritz for making drow no longer a de facto evil race nowadays.
Well,
like, oh, everyone wants to play Dritz. Oh, I want to play
honestly,
the rebel against the big bad society, but then every drow's a fucking Dritz, so there's no longer big bad society to.
Honestly, I think it was better off when they were actually making a serious effort of having Elistray as a major thing in with Dark Elves, and not trying to have the actual drow be good, and just have okay, you want to be a Dark Elf, fine, you can be a follower of Elistray, and not a follower of what was her name again?
Lolth.
Yeah, Lolth. Because, if you're not in the cult of Lolth, then you can be a good drow. It's just that being a cultist of Lolth makes you evil.
Hey,
Yeah.
look,
we actually have.
I'll just say this just flat out. I am all for inherently evil races and forces in a fantasy realm. And I'm all for people playing monstrous or evil people, evil races. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to want to play a race, there is something inherent to that race that drew you to wanting to do that. In particular, it's like, oh, I want to play an orc, not because I want to do a power fantasy of being a savage raider that wants to become a war chief of his own tribe. No, I want to be a baker. Why?
Yeah, we have a in our Crystal Drow game. One of the players is playing a Oathbreaker Paladin Drow, who basically the reason it's an Oathbreaker Paladin is because she basically broke the oath to the Drow society to leave, but he is playing her almost as the perfect version of a drow that one could be. And it's interesting because I even said this on the stream I keep forgetting how misandrous drow society was, because the women were in charge of everything, and the men were just second to none. Or no, that's not the right term. It's they were basically almost like slaves.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
secondary citizens.
They didn't consider their men to be elves, really. They didn't consider them people.
Well,
which is funny because now it's got this fun conflict happening between Roger's character now in the game, and I'm just here for it now at this point.
This reminds me of a dissertation that I recorded as a YouTube video sometime last year, I think it was. Maybe it was earlier this year. But what does the concept of good and evil represent in a role-play game? And one thing that a lot of people forget is that Gary Gygax and his cohorts who created the original actually define good and evil in the context of biblical principle. And thus, it's that's actually what defines the concept of good and evil in D&D is biblical principles. And thus, trying to play an evil race, that means you're playing someone who is evil by biblical standards and probably deserves being put to death for their crime.
Yeah, so I'm just looking over this. Sorry, I'm looking over this back. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'll let you talk.
The reason why I was getting to that though is that this is a matter of personal choice, or decisions that were given to you, like the thing with the drow is like, oh, this is what you were told as a child is the right way to do things, and thus you are going to do it because that's just what you were told to do. Like, okay, but in the end, it's still, you are doing an evil act. And it's something that you are doing, not something that is just part of who you are. It's just like my personal take on it. It's like having drow be good people. Sure, fine, whatever. But like I mentioned earlier, that means they're not going to be followers of Lolth, because Lolth is evil and Lolth tells them to do evil things in her name.
Yeah, that's her fucking entertainment, really.
Jesus Christ! They want $200 for these 4 books about the history of TSR Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh yeah, there is like a sort of like a connotation with that thing I just mentioned, is that also because the fact that it's more a matter of choice than who you are and what you are, it means that when telling stories, you really need to pay attention to, okay, what is this person's personal goal, and so on. It's like you can have a band of human raiders be the bad guys in your story. You don't have to have them be an evil race. You just have them be bad people. That's perfectly fine in role-playing games.
Yeah, of course I have to get something from Ben Riggs, even though I was going to get his book at one point before he said all the stupid crap he said about TSR and Gary Gygax. And then I'm just looking through all this stuff. I'm curious to see, let me see, timeline. Yeah, it's expected to come out July 2020 once it's done, because there's still like a month left, I think it said. And of course, we got all the pronoun people, because that's what Evil Hat's known for. Oh, yep, there's a they right there.
That's not how pronouns work. It's not
purple
how
hair.
it works. I hate people to the deepest foundations of my soul. The people that do those mixed pronoun bullshits.
Mm-hmm.
It's, well, at least it's not like there's no Akadi chain where she uses all the pronouns.
Oh god.
Didn't DC have something similar in their overall multiverse story? I don't referring to their miracle, unless you're referring to something we talked about before that you may have missed or catching up on. But I had a thought and I just lost it. I think, but yeah, this came to my attention earlier this week, and I was listening to a podcast talking about it, and I'm just like, it sounds good on paper. And while Evil Hat has good games before they release Thirsty Sword Lesbians, I wouldn't trust them to handle this appropriately.
Oh yeah, that reminds me that the dissertation on pronouns, the stupidest one I've seen yet, is people deciding when they wake up what pronoun they want to be referred to by that day, and expecting everyone they talk to, including people who don't know them, to respect their pronouns.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, because we're supposed to be able to read minds and know everything. I remember it's interesting because my first con I ended to back in June or July, I can't remember which month it was now. They actually had pronoun pins and ribbons available for people to use. And I think people took them just to have, but I hardly saw anyone wearing them. Even though like they were all getting taken, I hardly saw anyone wearing them as I was walking around the con, and no one was making a big deal about it either.
I honestly suspect that some people probably got them so that they could remove the pronoun from it and put something actually useful on the pin, and just use it as an easy material.
My pronouns on Discord are American Patriot. So I just do that just because I know I can. I wish I could do it on like Twitter and all that. Twitter won't let me.
Griffith Radio's thing about the multiverse is about the concept of good and evil in the multiverse. It's like the DC's idea is that like the DC multiverse actually has a uniform concept of good and evil throughout the entire multiverse, because of the fact that the multiverse has a single creator who and it is the will of the creator that defines what constitutes good and evil in the DC multiverse.
Yeah, but that brings up all our pop culture and RPG stuff for the last couple of weeks at least. And I said it was a lot. There was so much that was going on, and it was even hard for me, surprisingly enough, to try to keep up with all of it.
Oh yeah. Also, as a final thing, is that AI news filter thing. I honestly suspect that that's going to get applied to pop culture things, where if the AI news bot or AI search assistant that you're trying to search the internet using decides it doesn't want to find something, it will just tell you it can't find it.
Yeah, well, I was about to get to that because I was going to bring up just what's been going on now, like politics-wise, is because there's been a few things going on. We've had the ICE raids trying to round up all the illegals, and all those ICE agents are getting attacked. We still have it's still 0 days of this violence, as a man in Georgia was shot at just for having a Trump sign on his own property. We got people bitching and moaning about Trump basically doing home renovations on the White House to make a ballroom, I think it is. And
that's actually one of those things that's particularly hilarious to me, because like almost every president has changed the White House in some way. Every single one.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to bring that up. Is every president has made changes to the White House, one form or another. And yeah, well, the Ice Pokemon ad is fairly old, because I think we actually covered that. I think like the last show we did. But yeah, that was hilarious. I thought when the Ice Pokemon ad with ICE agents to catch the illegal immigrants. And so, but it's just gotten, and then of course there's Mandani running for governor,
mayor.
And you're gonna put it all down the crap hole at this point. Not that New York was basically already going down that way to begin with.
Mandani the commie.
Mandami the commie. Yep. Oh man, there's just been so even the politics wise, I try to keep up with everything that too, but again, there's just so much happening. Thankfully, nothing too crazy and severe for the moment, but it's probably just a calm before the storm too. So,
I mean, still by far the most extreme case was anti-ICE protesters trying to use a U-Haul truck to barge their way into a military base.
I saw that this morning.
And Portland using their own police force to try to block. Oh, I remember the whole story. What happened now? The ICE agents, I believe, were trying to get illegal immigrant. Protesters helped the illegal immigrant escape custody, and when the ICE agents tried to chase after the guy, Portland police got in their way and stopped them.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then this is why I no longer do the back of the blue thing anymore, and why a lot of us now also call out those who just blindly support cops. Yeah, yes, not all cops are bad. There are good cops out there, but when your city is using them against you, they are not your friend anymore.
I was a back the blue guy.
That's actually one of those things. Is like, what cases where I would actually support having martial law declared, because when you have a mayor who is actively harming the citizens of their city, it's like the way that's supposed to work is that the city petitions the governor to do something about it, or something like that. Like recall elections are a thing for a reason. It's if the people feel that you as an elected official are not doing your job properly, they are in theory able to have a recall election to kick you out.
Yeah. Vote of no confidence and all that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And also, I remember what I was going to talk about, and now I just forgot it. Damn it! Because I just remembered that it was a big thing, and what was it now? Just had it. What was it?
while you're thinking of that, I make a declaration on at this point what we just need to do to Portland at this point.
Screw it.
Blow it up.
Get every single law-abiding citizen out of there, and just literally do Escape from New York and just turn Portland into just a giant maximum security prison.
I will not be playing Snake.
Yeah, and then Snake. I'm
wall
confused.
off the whole entire city. Snake Plissken.
Oh,
the main character.
Yeah, that would be a
Escape from New
stage.
York.
I loved
Yeah,
when George Carlin, one of his. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't forget that Snake came out before Solid Snake.
I mean, that's who Solid Snake was based off.
Yep. Exactly.
So I was gonna say, George Carlin had a bit in one of his shows where he talked about taking like the 4 main square states and turning them into basically prison states, putting walls all around them, and each section of those prison states would be like, you had one for the extremely violent offenders, you had one for all like the sexual deviants of any crime, you had one that was all the just completely insane wackaloons. And then I forgot what the 4th one was, but the 4th one was another like really something horrendous as well. And
put all the corporate criminals where they have to deal with each other.
Corporate criminals, yes, that's right. It was like the really bad white collar crimes, and then it would be like maybe one time a month. There'd be little doors to all the prisons that would connect and open up, and then they could all intermingle, kill, rape, screw. Embezzle each other to all their heart's content, and that's where they would all go. That's what I'm picturing like we should do with Portland.
I say we do that, but have it instead placed in California.
Yeah, well, California just needs to be like separated entirely from the U.S. and just be
not all
into
of
the
California.
ocean.
Well, not all of it's not all of California. I think we've talked about this before.
Yeah, it's like
only
California.
Just like the 2, maybe 3 big blue areas of California that just need to be ostracized from all society.
It's like they want to join Baja California for some reason. Realistically, what it really is in California is the Mexican cartels trying to take control of California. That's what it really is that it's the cartels. It's not, just random Mexican citizens who want to live a better life. No. Mexicans who are genuine refugees are coming to the U.S. to escape the cartels. This organized protest nonsense, that's the cartels. That's not random citizens.
Okay, so and I can't remember what my point I was gonna. I wish I could remember because it was something kind of I thought was a little funny that happened. But when I was going through my Google News feed, I saw this article. Now you all have to see it. So let me bring this up here really quick. This is hilarious.
No.
How much are we gonna have?
And kind of going back to the Dragons a little bit. Not too much. Let's see. But the title says, I don't know if it's popping up on the screen yet or not on your end, but it's taking the sweet time on mine. Dungeons & Dragons up in 150K pound row over inappropriate cuddling.
What?
Huh?
Squeeze me?
A dispute between the venue's founders who were once married has spiraled into a court battle involving misconduct claims and countersuits.
Inappropriate cuddling.
Bosses of Arcadia Games in London are at daggers drawn in at the dispute over allegations that one of them behaved inappropriately towards a female dungeon master by sitting partly in her lap.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently this was a game that happened at a venue, and I guess this one of the chicks was a dungeon master. I don't know if it was her or not. And apparently it's just this weird thing that I just happened to come across. And I just thought, okay, I had to share it because it's hilarious. So apparently they were a couple or something. I don't know. The judge of Central London County Court has been told that relations between the couples deteriorated to the point where police officers were called over a confrontation between them and Arcadia. So this caused something like at this Arcadia place that they were doing this game at.
What the fuck?
So, but this is literally just Reddit cringe right here. I wonder if they were applying the hugs and kisses rule that I keep hearing about. Did y'all ever hear about that story?
Hey Reddit, am I the asshole for sitting in the lap of my DM without permission?
No. Did you all ever hear about the hugs and kisses story?
Don't know.
What?
So this was a Reddit post that buddies of mine have talked about. That instead of rolling dice, the dungeon master and the players, depending on if they had to roll for something, they would settle it by hugging and kissing each other until they felt they were hugged and kissed enough for the skill or battle to be completed. Exactly. But for some reason, this is a thing that on Reddit, sometimes you'll find multiple posts that reference that they use the hugs and kisses rule for their games instead of rolling dice now.
Which that sounds moronic. Like,
some houses should be burnt down.
Yeah. Yeah, this is giving me that kind of vibe. And this is why people always usually say you don't bring your. So most of the time, you don't really want to bring your significant other to your gaming table or have them as a player, because then it sometimes can cause conflicts. Which again, there are exceptions, but in general, you usually don't want to bring them.
Like I've seen people come up with some pretty weird ideas for how to resolve random choices in TTRPGs that aren't rolling a dice. One of them was, in fact, that stupid Jenga idea, which I can see why people would think this was a good idea, but at the same time, as someone who has played games, I look at that and it's like, that would make everything take half of forever. But
just roll the dice. Just roll the plastic.
Yeah, because like the thing with the Jenga idea is that it's actually a test of manual dexterity of the players. So some players are going to be good at playing Jenga and some aren't, which is basically the equivalent of cheating at rolling dice. So
just roll the fucking
it's just a
dice.
fundamentally bad idea in general.
Yeah, I just figured I'd bring that up just kind of for the last few minutes, because I just happened to crack Google News and it popped up on my timeline among all the politics, surprisingly enough.
Yeah. Goodness forbid someone with cerebral palsy wants to play D&D and someone starts busting out the Jenga tower.
I keep hitting the wrong. But that is basically the majority of what happened over 2 weeks. And stop screen.
Sounds like thinly failed. Sounds like thinly failed foreplay, like Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
Sounds like there's also like, hey babe, you want to do D&D and chill?
You know, there is like an erotica version of D&D out there now. It's called Lewd Dungeon Adventures, and literally everything about it is sexual. And one of the main core rules is you literally do all sorts of sexual stuff with your partner of choice or things by yourself to complete tasks in combat.
Only one. Are you sure? Have you researched this topic adequately? Pretty sure there's more than one.
I thought we were going to go into like actual like sex mechanics or something in the game. I didn't think it was like sex.
That's what I'm saying.
Real life.
There are sex.
That's fucking weird.
It's a bit of both. There are sex mechanics that happen in the game between enemies and players, and then you're supposed to recreate those in real life for Lewd Dungeon Adventures.
No, that stuff's going to stay on the characters, on the plastics, on the map. I'm not doing any of that crap.
So, Roger, if you need to spice up the bedroom life at any point, there's an idea for you there.
Don't tell her she'd want to do it.
It's like I actually bought, because I think they just actually I actually do own the core rules, because I just happened to stumble across it one day. I'm like, what in the world is this? And I bought it on a whim. And actually looking through it, I'm like, you know what? If I had a girlfriend, I maybe would just play this. If it was just the two of us, and we just wanted to spice up things a little bit. But then they have adventures like the Shattered Dildo is literally one of the adventures they have. And there's a few others. I don't know them all off the top of my head. But if you could literally just look this up anywhere. There was a Kickstart for like a lot of this stuff. So that's why I'm bringing it up.
You ever just had the thought that we're just living in hell? There's no afterlife. We're already there.
No.
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 I mean,
No.
it could always be worse. I mean, Kamala could have been president.
Yeah. I imagine the people she put in jail for truancy and weed charges wouldn't have appreciated that.
Yeah, but anything else you guys think we need to talk about or discuss before we close out for today?
Apparently, who here has ever seen a Psycho-Pass?
I've seen like the first couple of episodes.
It's an anime.
Okay, I'm not familiar with it.
Pretty much, try to think of like an anime version of Minority Report, where they will arrest you for crimes you haven't committed yet, but this is more on the lines of thoughts and everything. Like if you think you're going to do something bad, they will arrest you.
Yeah.
Apparently that is close to being a reality over in the UK, where they're trying to implement a thing of trying to arrest people for thought crime.
Oh yeah, that was another thing that happened was freaking Mark, because that just reminded me, because we're talking like left people and then the hobby. It made me think Margaret Weiss put out the most horrible take about wheelchairs. One of the creators of the Dragonlance series tried to talk about combat wheels, okay? And I know that's retarded. Cast cure wounds on your paraplegic.
Can the combat wheelchair just please get out of the public speaking space?
You know, I wish it would be too, but we just happen to have this carousel that we can't seem to change up every time.
I fucking hate it so much.
But yeah, if you want to see what it is I'm talking about, let me.
Yeah, pull it up real quick. We can talk about it for a little bit. Let me get open. Yeah,
this is just the news article. UK expands Online Safety Act to enforce preemptive censorship for priority offenses.
What does that even fucking mean?
Thought crimes.
Whatever they want.
Yeah, that's about right.
I mean, they've already been doing that over Facebook
for
posts.
Thought crimes.
Because like this is actually one of those things that's come up. Is that they're apparently more interested in policing what you say on Facebook than what illegal immigrants do in real life. Say, and
raping their children.
Yeah, it's like an illegal immigrant assaulted someone or stole something. Yeah, we'll maybe possibly look into that eventually.
Apparently, at this moment, there's a protest or a riot going on in Ireland because at least I think it's in Ireland, a immigrant raped a girl, but he got off all charges because apparently, according to the court, the rape did not last long enough.
I forgot about that too.
The rape didn't last long enough.
Yeah,
it's bad.
What the actual shit?
That's on the record. That's the story.
Holy fuck!
Yeah,
hey, UK, how's that action lawsuit against 4chan? How's that going for you?
What about the whole entire thing of them trying to forcefully send like their police officers over here to the States to arrest people over here to send them back over to UK over something they said?
Yeah,
they have no guns. We kill them all.
That is actually something that I've heard a serious discussion about, and the thing that I heard is that basically it means that anyone who has one of those arrest warrants put out for them, the UK has to ask nicely for extradition in order to do that, and the U.S. government is free to say no. So unless
So
I
they
mean,
might as well
government,
not even bother.
unless the U.S.
if-
government agrees to extradite you for saying mean things on Twitter, it's not going to happen. However, this also means that people who have one of those arrest warrants out for them can't ever go to Britain in person because they'll get arrested.
I mean, I've been very vocal about this. I don't think the
I'm
Revolutionary War was
I'm
lasted
already
long
never
enough.
going there.
And I'm all ready for a second one if it comes to it. If we need to go fight Britain again, I say we take it to them this time, because that's what we should have done. Is after they left, we should have gone over to UK and liberated it completely.
Oh, Graffiti Radio made an salient comment. Oh, I finally understand Monty Python better than I did before. I used to think it was surreal. Or, okay, I rephrased it, but still.
Yeah.
Same Monty Python is far more hilarious now.
But yeah, it's all sorts of craziness going on. We're still dealing with it. Oh, I remember what it was now, what I was going to talk about. Trump literally brought peace, finally, to Israel and freaking Gaza. They finally got them to sit down and agree on something, and the left is pissed about that.
Yeah, I know. That was actually something that was utterly...
It just goes to show you Free Palestine didn't actually mean Free Palestine.
Oh, it was always about trying to stick it to Israel. Always.
Exactly.
Why? Because here's the thing. All of the Free Palestine protests never said a single word about Lebanon, Jordan, or Egypt.
No.
Why?
Because they weren't the talking points.
Because of the fact that the whole Free Palestine movement was about sticking it to Israel. But also, it's like Lebanon, Jordan, and Egypt have a greater animosity towards the Palestinians than the Israelis do. Every single one of those countries exiled the Palestinians as a group from their countries permanently because of the fact that they tried to take over the governments of every single one of those countries.
Yep.
The border wall between Egypt and Gaza makes the Berlin Wall look like a minor decoration.
Don't they just straight up shoot them on sight?
Yeah, Gazans who tried to climb over the wall. No, you're not going to climb over that wall.
But yeah, it's like, but hey, on the plus side, I now have a new brother. My little sister got married last weekend, so that was a fun wedding. I drank too much, sang too much, lost my voice because I had a family friend recorded. This has aged me so much when I realized how old it was. Best Love Song by T-Pain, which came out in 2011, the year I graduated high school. And I was just rocking out to that song on the dance floor. There's one of my family friends that was there recording me dancing.
They literally watched a man de-age in real time.
And then I looked up how old that song was, and I aged myself right back up. But yeah, I think that is everything for today. So thank you all for joining us on this extended episode of the UltraCast. Join me and Roger again on Rustic Rollers this upcoming Sunday as we pick back up with where we left off with Curse of Strahd. Will I TPK them? Will they all make it out alive? I don't know. I will try my best not to purposely do so. But we'll see what happens.
It'll be the shortest campaign ever.
Strahd would be disappointed if you don't. You don't want to disappoint Strahd, do you?
We'll see what happens. So I'm looking forward to that. Mar Hockman, where can everyone find you at?
I post videos on YouTube regularly. I sometimes stream on Twitch and Kick. Twitch, I'm not sure how often I'm going to be streaming on that in the near future, but we'll see. Well.
Yeah. Oh, and Dusko, if we want to talk about short campaigns, Chubby Funster released a book called Shadow City, which is vampire for Shadow Dark. And I was in a Thursday group. We did two sessions because we literally TPK'd the second session, and that campaign came to a halt after that.
Nice.
All right. Roger, where can everyone else find you at?
You can find me over on YouTube, Rumble, X at Roger Hopkins CTP, standing for Country Time Pop, as well as Country Time Pop, where you can find all your Southern style news and reviews and all things pop culture.
All right. And where can everyone find you, Duskwill?
I'm Duskquill, and you can find me on X at Duskquill_team.
I was hearing squeaking for a second. It distracted me, so sorry. And as always, you can find me under the Ultra Mega TTRPG on YouTube and Rumble, not on Twitch, because Twitch is a sack of shit now. And you can also find me on X at Ultra TTRPG-ER. So once again, thank you for joining us. Thank you to my wonderful compatriots here for joining me as always on Saturday morning. Everyone, have a good weekend. Roll some dice and stay safe out there.
Take care,
You
everyone.
all have a good one.